In 1984, a man shows up to audition for the TV game show Press Your Luck. He's obsessed with the show, so much that he spent 3 days traveling from Ohio all the way to California just to be there. As a token of appreciation, he even brings a souvenir plate featuring the show's mascot as a gift for the producer, Bill. Normally, he works fixing air conditioners, and during the summer, he drives an ice cream truck to make extra cash. In the middle of his audition, Bill's assistant Sylvia suddenly interrupts. She's discovered that the man used a fake name. Turns out he took the spot of another contestant who showed up late for his appointment. His real name is Michael. He's kicked out immediately. Bill feels bad about it. He actually liked Michael, but casting director Chuck insists they can't take chances on a guy who lies. Just then, a strange noise comes from outside. When Bill looks out the window, he sees Michael's beat-up ice cream truck sputtering in the parking lot. It won't start. Impressed by Michael's determination, Bill changes his mind. He tells Michael to clean himself up and come back the next morning to tape the show. That evening, Michael stops by a thrift store to pick up a decent-looking jacket. He cleverly rips off one of the buttons and convinces the cashier to give him a discount because it's damaged.
It's a thrift shop.
Yeah, all the buttons are...
I can give you 25% off the jacket.
Oh.
Later, he simply sews the button back on. The next morning, Sylvia gives Michael and the other contestants a tour of the studio. They pass through various TV sets before reaching the Press Your Luck stage. Michael tries sneaking a peek behind the scenes, but Sylvia quickly pulls him away. The contestants are then placed in a waiting room to watch the show until it's their turn. Eventually, Sylvia calls Michael and 2 other players to head backstage, where they meet the show's host, Peter, and the mascot. The 3 contestants take their seats as the recording resumes, and the crowd erupts in applause. Peter greets each of them and cracks a few jokes. Ed is the returning champion from the previous day, and Janie is another newcomer. Michael is clearly nervous, but still manages to talk about his simple job and mention that his family's watching from home. Peter then reminds everyone of the rules. He'll ask a question, and whoever hits the buzzer first gets to answer. The other players can either agree or give their own answer. A correct original answer earns 3 spins. Agreeing with a correct one earns 1 spin, and a wrong answer earns nothing. For the first question, Janie answers, and the others agree she's right, so everyone scores some spin points. On the second question, Michael buzzes in too early and guesses wrong. Ed nails the third question, and both Michael and Janie agree with him, earning more spins. Finally, Michael gets one right on the 4th question. Before moving on to the next phase, the crew calls for a short break. Michael tries to make a quick phone call, but Sylvia stops him. It's not allowed. When they return, Peter spins the contestants' chairs around to face the big game board. The massive screen flashes through different prize panels, with a light that moves randomly from one to another. Players can press their button to stop the light and claim whichever prize it lands on, or they can pass their turn to an opponent, hoping the other player hits a bankrupt spot. The player with the lower score goes first, and that's Michael. He locks his eyes on the board, takes a deep breath, and starts his spins. On his first try, he lands $2,000. His second spin gives him another $2,500 plus a free spin.
Wow, another $1,500. Michael, you wanna go again?
Keep going.
But on the third one, his luck collapses. He lands on the mascot space and loses everything. Frustrated, he blurts out a curse on camera. The production crew isn't thrilled. It's a family show, and foul language is a big no-no. When they check the tape, they realize the curse can't be edited out cleanly, so they decide to reshoot his reaction. Bill starts sweating. If Michael keeps acting out, the network's going to blame him for letting the guy on in the first place. Michael gets a firm scolding and quickly apologizes. Next up, Ed and Janie take their turns and walk away with $4,000 combined. Meanwhile, Michael quietly studies the flashing light patterns on the board, his mind working fast. During the next commercial break, Sylvia leads the contestants to the restroom. Michael, desperate, tells her that it's his daughter's birthday today and pleads for one quick phone call. Sylvia gives in, but no one picks up on the other end. Angry and disappointed, Michael starts muttering curses again. Once the break ends, the game resumes. Since he's still trailing, Michael goes first. This time, his timing is perfect. Each spin lands big. He racks up $13,000 and earns an extra spin. The production team can't help but get excited, and Bill starts to feel vindicated for giving Michael another shot. Michael refuses to pass his spins. He keeps going, landing on prize after prize, each one adding more money and more free spins. Peter, the host, tries to calm him down, warning that one bad spin could wipe everything out, but Michael's on a rush. He just can't stop. By the time he hits $28,000, the audience is on its feet, cheering for their new underdog hero. But behind the scenes, the mood shifts from celebration to suspicion. Bill, now visibly anxious, calls for a commercial break and pulls Peter into his office. While the contestants get touched up by the makeup team, Michael tries to flirt his way into a double date with them, and Ed, but the women aren't interested. Inside the office, the production crew tells Peter that something's off with Michael. They ask him to rattle Michael a bit on air by talking about the odds and how most lucky streaks end badly. When the cameras roll again, Peter starts the segment by casually reminding Michael and the audience about the dangers of overconfidence. He even slips in a few jokes that subtly make Michael look foolish, but it doesn't faze him. No matter what Peter says, Michael insists on spinning again. Growing increasingly uneasy, Bill calls Chuck and tells him to dig into Michael's background. He's starting to think they might have been conned. As the game continues, Chuck digs through Michael's contestant file, only to find it completely blank except for a phone number. He dials it and realizes it's the show's own number. Then he pulls up Michael's audition tape, and the memory clicks. The ice cream truck. Chuck rushes out to the parking lot, spots the truck, and peers inside. What he sees stuns him. A stash of fake IDs, license plates, and videotapes. The doors are locked, but a security guard hands him a crowbar. Back in the studio, Michael's winnings skyrocket past $40,000. The crew starts to panic. They talk about shutting down the game, but without proof of cheating, they can't make that call. Peter calls for another break after Michael crosses $50,000.
Unbelievable. More of the force that is Michael Larson right after this short break.
Already?
And we're out in
45 seconds.
Moments later, Chuck returns to his office, arms full of documents from the truck. Among them, he finds a business card for someone named Lyle Roberts. Chuck calls the number, pretending to be a clerk from Justice Court. He asks about a restraining order filed against Michael. Lyle explains that Michael used to run a pyramid scheme, but as soon as he realizes Chuck isn't really from the court, he hangs up. Chuck then turns to the videotapes. At first, they look like old family home movies, but then he notices they've been recorded over with episodes of Press Your Luck. It hits him. Michael wasn't watching for fun, he was studying. When Chuck checks which exact segments were recorded, he hurries back to the studio. There, Michael is still spinning, still winning. Watching closely, Chuck follows Michael's gaze to the flashing board, and it clicks. Michael has memorized the light patterns. That's how he always knows the exact moment to press the button. After that, Chuck joins the production crew and asks them to rewind Michael's last 3 spins. He points out how Michael's eyes track the lights, and how he starts celebrating before the result even lands. A horrified Bill realizes what's happening. The board's lights aren't completely random. There are only 5 repeating patterns. Anyone who's watched the show enough could memorize them. Bill turns pale and admits that Chuck had been right all along. Michael really is a con man. During the next break, Sylvia passes out branded t-shirts to the other contestants as an apology, since they never got a chance to play thanks to Michael's endless winning streak. While she's distracted, Michael slips away and notices that the makeup artist only flirts back when Peter does it. Seeing the studio phone unattended, Michael seizes the opportunity to call home. His wife answers, clearly irritated. He's been an absent father, but she reluctantly lets him speak to their daughter so he can wish her a happy birthday. Their brief call ends abruptly when the studio bell rings to signal the end of the break. As he turns around, Michael freezes. The show's mascot is standing there, silently watching him. Meanwhile, the production team is locked in a heated argument. Memorizing patterns doesn't technically count as cheating, so they'll have to find another way to stop Michael. Their debate is interrupted when Peter calls from the set, reminding them about the home player spin rule. That sparks an idea, a way to make Michael slip up without breaking the rules. Back on stage, Peter records a special segment explaining to viewers that, for the first time ever, an episode has gone over its scheduled runtime. They might be taping until nightfall. Michael's total is now approaching $70,000, and he still has spins left. He spins again, racks up even more cash, and then Peter announces the home player spin. This time, Michael's winnings will be matched with a random viewer chosen from the audience. Michael opens the card on his desk to reveal the lucky person's name, and his face goes pale. It's Lyle. Michael's anxiety skyrockets, but he keeps his cool long enough to press the button at just the right moment, winning a luxury trip to a 5-star resort in Hawaii. Peter smiles and tells the crowd that Lyle will get the same prize. Suddenly, a stage spotlight swings and blinds Michael right in the face. He yells out in frustration, and Janie joins him in complaining. Production quickly cuts to another break. At that moment, the network CEO storms into the studio furious. He demands to know who approved a game system with only 5 light patterns and who allowed Michael to get on the show in the first place. Bill panics and lies, saying it was Chuck's call. On set, Janie confronts Sylvia, accusing the team of giving Michael special treatment. When Janie brings up Michael's phone call, Sylvia roughly pulls her aside to keep her quiet. Michael tells Ed that the producers are messing with him because he recognized the name on the card. Ed brushes it off as coincidence, but suspicion starts to creep in. Feeling paranoid, Michael steps out to clear his head, only to find that the studio phone has vanished. Chuck corners him, demanding to know who he was calling. Terrified, Michael bolts and runs out of the studio. He hides in his ice cream truck, only to realize the lock's been broken.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Hey! My truck! Somebody broke in!
He approaches a police officer next, but the cop says he's just arrived because the studio requested extra security. Michael wanders around the lot, noticing police everywhere, and starts to panic, convinced they're all there for him. Desperate and out of options, he sneaks back inside through a random door, only to stumble onto the set of a completely different show. The host mistakes him for a guest and invites him to sit. Confused and emotional, Michael admits he just wants to have breakfast with his family, and that the only way to do that is by appearing on their TV while they're watching. He insists everything he's done these past months has been for his daughter. Before he can say more, Sylvia storms in and drags him back to the correct studio.
Yeah, he turned right around. We're on our way back now. Thanks.
Meanwhile, Chuck goes to meet the production team, only to find out that Bill has blamed him for the entire mess. Furious and heartbroken, Chuck tries to defend himself, but before the argument explodes, an operator interrupts to share some surprising news. The audience absolutely loves Michael. Viewers see him as a national hero. The CEO sees an opportunity. If they spin this the right way, it could be great publicity. He decides they'll keep filming and promote the episode as the luckiest man in America. The show resumes, and Michael keeps on winning. Chuck returns to his desk, quietly breaking down as he stares at the phone he confiscated from Michael. On impulse, he presses redial, and Michael's wife answers. Moments later, Michael's total passes the $100,000 mark, which would be around $300,000 in 2025. The control room erupts in celebration, until Peter suddenly announces he has a special call for Michael. Chuck freezes as Michael's wife's voice echoes through the studio speakers. She lashes out, calling him a fraud and saying she's done with his lies.
It's Peter Tamarkin from Press Your Luck. What the? I'm here with your husband, Patricia.
Michael, what's he talking about?
I'm on the show. I'm finally doing it. I'm winning.
Michael, what is wrong with you? You've got to stop. You're making me absolutely crazy.
Let me call you back later, Trish. We can
I
talk.
don't want a TV character. Sign the papers and move on, Michael. You really just don't know when to stop, do you?
Before hanging up, she tells him to sign the divorce papers. The studio goes dead silent. Even Peter has no words. Michael panics, bolts from his chair, and another break is called.
Michael.
Backstage chaos erupts as the team scrambles to figure out who patched the call through. The sound tech swears he got a note signed by Bill. The editor insists they can cut the segment and keep filming, but Sylvia walks in with bad news. Michael refuses to return. Bill steps in and finds Michael alone. He tells him they know exactly what he's been doing, but there's nothing they can do to stop him. If Michael wants the prize money, he has to finish the game. Bill calls him a star, a national hero.
Michael Larson, luckiest man in America. And we want to be the wind beneath your wings.
T-shirts?
After a pause, Michael agrees to go back, but only if he can call his wife first. He picks up the phone, yet can't bring himself to dial. Defeated, he sets it down and heads back to the stage. When the next round begins, Michael shocks everyone by passing his spin to Ed. The crowd erupts, praising his generosity, while the production team just stares in disbelief. Enraged, Bill smashes the souvenir plate Michael gave him. The crew silently agrees. This episode will air once, then be buried forever. After Ed and Janie finish their turns, the final spin goes back to Michael. He closes his eyes, hits the button, and lets fate decide. 2 weeks later, Michael's family watches the broadcast. Lyle, furious, shuts off the TV and takes his daughter to school. His wife turns it back on, just in time to see Michael win everything. On screen, Peter asks what he plans to do with the money. Michael just shrugs and says, "I don't know."
I understand that yesterday was your daughter's birthday.
Yes.
What happened?
I didn't have any money really to buy her anything. She will get something now. Very nice.
And what did you used to do, Michael? What kind of work?
I've been an air conditioning mechanic, and I drove an ice cream truck for about 10, 12 years, but I'm not this summer. No way.
Oh, evidently not.
This story is based on true events. After Michael's infamous episode, the network added 27 new light patterns to the board and capped contestant winnings at $75,000. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.